So today's poll, or this week's poll was, can apartments ever work as an investment? And yes, they can. They can work as an investment. They can be a great investment if you do the right due diligence to get into the market at the right time, and depending on the quality and the type of apartment that you're purchasing. Now, there's a lot of different types of apartments, unit blocks or units, I should say, and not all of them are treated equally. So this is something that you got to make sure when you're purchasing something like this that it's very scarcity and there's not much or not many of these apartment blocks, or they're very unique in a certain particular way. They can be the penthouse, it can be, it can have a courtyard, it can have a large living and dining area, or it's got views that, not many other apartments have, or it's maybe on the water and it's in a really good, desirable location. It can be a number of things. Now, they can work, and depending on your situation, they can't work as well. And why I say that, there's a lot of ups and downs, or a lot of things that you got to watch out with apartments. And the number one thing, you probably heard it all the time, is body corp. Some of these beautiful apartment blocks have, significant amount of fees when it comes to body corp, which can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. I know one of my aunties who's got an apartment and it's costing her $4,500 a year of body corp fees. Plus you still got to get insurance for contents insurance. So, it's still it's a lot of money that takes away from your cash flow. Now, depending on all of them, like I said, not all of them are treated equally. Some of them might not have a body corp, some will, and the older type of apartments can be great investment. So I want to talk about some of the best regions, I guess, in Australia that this year that have performed quite well. And we'll talk about, what that's done over the past 12 months and how much it's grown. But like I said, apartments can be really good investment. And people normally go down the apartment path when they're building a portfolio because that's all they think they can afford. But if you look out of your backyard, there's great opportunity there for houses that produce large amount of income per month. And not just that, they grow quite as strong, if not stronger than apartments. It's known to be a fact. It's always been a fact that houses always grow more than apartments, but of course, there's some apartment locations, which I will reveal today, that have outperformed some house markets that, in Australia or around Australia, which has been quite phenomenal this year. But like I said, this is something that, apartments have their pros and cons. You cannot knock out multiple walls or extend the apartment block. You can't build a garage, or you can't build a patio, or you can't do some landscaping to improve the quality of the property. And why you do that is to increase the equity, and increasing the equity helps you improve the property. But then you extract the equity, and then you can use that money to go purchase more property. Apartments, you're very limited to what you can do. Okay, so that's the only downfall. Like I said, but there's pros and cons with both apartments and houses. So let's get into the topic. So Walkerville is in South Australia. It's about northeast of Adelaide. It's probably very close to CBD. It's probably within 5 kilometres of the CBD, probably even less kilometres to the local hub of the CBD. Medium house price medium unit price is $465,000. Last year, it grew over 27%. So you look at that from a perspective, that's a great achievement of an apartment, growing 27% in capital growth in the first year. Some of these unit markets are quite affordable as we keep going. And Kingaroy is in Queensland, so it's west of Sunshine Coast. So you got the Sunshine Coast. It's about 200 kilometers in of the Sunshine Coast, so it's inland of Queensland, and you got a unit price or medium house or unit medium price of $190,000. As we can see, it grew 40% last year. 40%. So if you got there at the right time, you could have picked up a unit for peanuts, pocket change, basically when it comes to, housing, and you could have, rode that wave of 40% in the first 12 months. Now, I'm saying that units are going to do this day in, day out, depending on the certain markets, depending on the fundamentals. Of course, like I said, a unit market can work. Now, if we go to solar or Soli, I think they pronounce it as, in Tassie. So it's about 45 k's from Hobart, about east of Hobart. It's a location, you got a unit median price of $470,000, and it grew 13% last year, which is amazing. Smashed the national average of 6%. So these markets are outperforming other markets, across Australia. Now, then we go to Mostyn, which is in New South Wales. It's very, very expensive location, especially the housing market. Now, the unit market is up there, one of the most expensive as well in Australia, and you're looking at over $1.1 million, price bracket for the unit market. And it grew 12% last year. Now, 12% of $1 million is a lot of money. It's $120,000. Now, these are some of the markets that, that I just wanted to show and paint a picture that units can work. And I've got a whole bunch of different price range of units here. And they've, not saying units don't grow in value, they do, but it's the right fundamentals depending on the quality of the unit. Now, as you can see, you got affordable units of a medium house price of $190,000, and then we go all the way down to a $1.1 million median price of a unit that grows significant. Not as much as the value of the 40% of Kingaroy, but if you look at 12% of a $1 million asset, that's quite a significant amount of growth on a $1.1 million asset. But so saying that, there is markets, you can get the right fundamentals correctly, you can achieve that capital growth. But saying that, this is something where if you're purchasing a unit or your apartment building that is similar or very similar to all the other ones that are getting built around it, then that value of that unit has no value. So these are units that have scarcity, that are maybe they're the unique style of units that will they're old school 80s. They've got a large living dining area, like I said, a courtyard. Maybe they've got views. Maybe they're close to the amenities. Maybe they've got scarcity of certain types of characteristics, and that's what makes a unit be desirable and pushes up the property prices. Same goes with housing as well. So just looking at fundamentals and basing it on that. Like I said, if you're just looking to get into the market and you're thinking, I want to be close to the CBD and I'm just going to get an apartment close to the CBD because it's going to go up in value, 9 times out of 10, it's probably not going to be the best investment because there hasn't been any logic behind it. There hasn't been any analysis behind it, understanding what makes that a good apartment and different to all the rest. So you got to understand it's not all treated equally, and that's why going off medium house prices can be quite misleading as well, because it's a median price of units, what's in the middle price. So when I say median price, it's not the average price, it's the median price, and that's what they use. So, but it's something to take into consideration that you always got to look at the fundamentals. So hopefully you got something from this. Apartments can work, units can work, like I said, but it comes down to scarcity, comes down to all the other fundamentals that we use when it comes to housing as well. So just make sure you do your right due diligence. It can work, it is affordable, but saying that you can probably get a better outcome by getting into properties, or houses I should say, that are outside your local vicinity of where you live. So just keep that in mind. So if you got something from this, please leave us a like, give us a thumbs up. If you've got any other questions or any other questions about apartments or anything about other fundamentals, just reach out, put it as a question, and we'll put a poll up, and we'll do it for the next week's poll that will be coming to us. Thanks, guys.